The desperate call. The crystalline spires of Zorvath Prime pierced the purple sky like frozen lightning. For 3,000 years, these towers had stood as monuments to the greatest civilization in the Andromeda sector. Inside the central command tower, Ambassador Kelrin stood before the holographic display showing the spread of death across his world. His silver skin had lost its usual shimmer, dulled by exhaustion and despair. The plague had come from nowhere. 6 months ago, the first cases appeared on the mining colony of Zorvath 7. Within weeks, entire cities went silent. The disease attacked the nervous system of Zorvath biology with surgical precision, as if designed specifically to destroy them. Their best scientists called it the Crimson Silence, because victims lost the ability to communicate before their bodies shut down completely. Kelrin watched the red dots multiply across the planetary map. Each dot represented 1,000 deaths. The numbers climbed faster than his mind could process. 50 million dead. 100 million. The counter never stopped moving upward. "Ambassador, we must make a decision." The voice belonged to Chief Scientist Varmok, whose 4 arms trembled as he spoke. "Our medical facilities are overwhelmed. We have tried every treatment protocol in our databases. Nothing works. The plague adapts faster than we can study it." Kelrin turned away from the display. His council chamber held 20 of the most brilliant minds on Zorvath Prime. Every face showed the same expression of hopeless defeat. These were people who had solved problems that stumped entire star systems. They had built quantum computers that could predict weather patterns a century in advance. They had engineered biological enhancements that doubled their natural lifespan, yet this microscopic enemy was destroying them. "What about the Confederation?" asked Military Commander Thexus, her voice sharp despite her obvious fatigue. "The Galactic Confederation officially expressed their sympathies. Then they quarantined our entire system. No ships in or out. They fear the plague might spread to other species." "Cowards," Thexus spat. "We supported them during the Krell Wars. We shared our technology freely. Now they abandon us." Kelrin felt the weight of leadership crushing down on him. The Zorvath had always been proud. They were the teachers, the innovators, the species others came to for answers. Asking for help had never been necessary. Until now. "There is one option we have not tried," said junior analyst Mira, speaking up from the back of the chamber. She was young, barely 200 years old, and her voice shook with nervousness. "We could send a universal distress signal. Not just to the Confederation, but to everyone, every species with space travel capability." The chamber fell silent. The suggestion bordered on humiliation. Broadcasting their weakness to the entire galaxy went against every tradition the Zorvath held sacred. That would include primitive species, civilizations that barely understand quantum mechanics. What could they possibly offer us? "Survival," Mara replied quietly. "They could offer us survival." Kelrin closed his eyes. Outside the tower, he could hear the wail of emergency sirens. Another district had fallen to the plague. His own daughter worked in the medical centers, trying desperately to save lives while watching friends and colleagues die around her. Pride meant nothing if his people became extinct. Kelrin said, "Prepare the signal," his voice cutting through the protest that erupted. "Maximum power. All frequencies, include our medical data, our location, everything. Someone out there might have knowledge we lack." The signal went out across the void of space, carrying the desperate plea of a dying civilization. It traveled through quantum channels and electromagnetic waves, spreading in all directions like ripples on an infinite pond. The message was simple and heartbreaking. "This is Ambassador Kelrin of the Zorvath Republic. Our people face extinction from an unknown plague. We possess advanced technology and offer any payment for medical assistance. We are running out of time. Please, if anyone receives this message, we need help." Hours passed. The plague continued its merciless advance. The medical teams reported 5,000 new cases every hour. The morgues ran out of space.
Parks and public squares were converted to emergency treatment centers, but they filled as quickly as they could be established. Kelrin remained in the command center, monitoring communications. Responses came in slowly. Most were automated messages acknowledging receipt. A few species sent condolences but explained they lacked the medical knowledge to help. The Confederation sent another message emphasizing the quarantine and warning all ships to stay away from Zorvath space. 20 hours after the distress signal went out, something changed. Ambassador. Varnock rushed to Kelrin's side, his forearms gesturing frantically at a holographic display. We have received a response. The signature is strange. I have never seen this communication protocol. What species? Kelrin demanded. Varnock's fingers danced across the controls, pulling up database information. According to our records, they call themselves humans. They are from a system designated as Sol 3, approximately 60 light-years from our position. Our last survey of their planet was conducted 800 years ago. At that time, they had not yet achieved spaceflight. Kelrin frowned. Primitives? What did they possibly want? The message played through the chamber speakers. The voice was female, speaking in perfectly translated Zorvath language, though the underlying accent was unfamiliar and strangely musical. Zorvath Republic. This is Commander Sarah Mitchell of the Earth Defense Fleet. We have received your distress call and analyzed your medical data. We believe we can help. Our fleet is preparing to depart for your location. Estimated arrival time is 18 hours. Please prepare to receive humanitarian assistance. Hold on. Help is coming. The chamber erupted in confused voices. Varnock was already pulling up trajectory calculations. Ambassador, this is impossible. Even our fastest ships would take 6 days to cross 60 light-years. There is no known technology that could achieve this speed. Perhaps their message is delayed, suggested Thexus. Maybe they sent it weeks ago and are only now arriving. Negative, Varnock replied, his voice filled with awe and fear. The quantum signature shows this message was sent 4 minutes ago, and Ambassador, I am detecting something on long-range sensors, multiple objects entering our system at velocities that should not be possible. Kelrin moved to the sensor station. On the display, dozens of objects appeared at the edge of Zorvath space. They moved in perfect formation, decelerating from speeds that broke every law of physics he understood. As they drew closer, the sensors began resolving details. The ships were enormous. Each vessel dwarfed the largest Zorvath battleship by a factor of 10. Their hulls were smooth and dark, seeming to absorb light rather than reflect it. Energy signatures pulsed across their surfaces in patterns that made no sense according to conventional propulsion theory. Open a channel, Kelrin ordered, his voice barely above a whisper. The main view screen flickered to life, showing the interior of what could only be a human command center. The being who appeared was bipedal, roughly the same size as a Zorvath, with tan skin and dark hair pulled back from her face. Her eyes were brown and intense, filled with determination and something else Kelrin could not quite identify. Compassion, perhaps. Ambassador Kelrin, I am Commander Sarah Mitchell. My medical teams are ready to begin work immediately. We have experience with Cascade Plague variants. Your people are not the first to face this kind of biological crisis. Kelrin struggled to form words. Everything about this situation defied logic. Ambassador Mitchell, forgive my confusion, but our records indicate your species is technologically primitive. How do you have ships capable of faster-than-light travel at these speeds? Mitchell's expression softened slightly. Ambassador, your survey was 800 years ago. Humans develop quickly when motivated. But we can discuss our history later. Right now, every minute counts. My chief medical officer, Dr. James Chen, needs to coordinate with your scientists immediately. We are transmitting our analysis of the plague and proposed treatment protocols now. Before Kelrin could respond, Varnock gasped. Ambassador, They have sent us complete genetic sequencing of the plague organism. This level of detail would take our computers weeks to compile. They did it in hours. And their proposed treatment is elegant, using quantum-level cellular manipulation and targeted antimicrobial compounds I have never encountered. Will it work? Kelrin asked. I believe it might, Varnock said, wonder filling his voice. It addresses the plague's adaptive mechanisms in ways we never considered. These humans think differently than we do. On the screen, Commander Mitchell stood. Behind her, Kelrin could see crew members moving with practiced efficiency. The ship's interior looked advanced beyond anything in Zorvath databases. Ambassador, we are deploying medical ships to your major population centers. My crews will work alongside your medical teams. We brought enough treatment supplies for your entire population. We will beat this plague together. Kelrin felt something break.
The price of pride and the gift of hope. The human medical ships touched down across Zorvath Prime like silver raindrops falling on a dying garden. Each vessel was smaller than the massive fleet carriers that orbited above, but they moved with precision that spoke of advanced artificial intelligence or incredibly skilled pilots. Kelrin watched from the central command tower as the nearest ship landed in Victory Plaza, a public space now filled with thousands of plague victims lying on makeshift beds. The ship's boarding ramp descended with a soft hiss. The first human to emerge was tall and lean, wearing a white uniform marked with symbols Kelrin did not recognize. His skin was darker than Commander Mitchell's, and his eyes held the calm focus of someone who had seen suffering before and refused to surrender to it. That must be Dr. Chen, Varnock said, monitoring the video feed. His bio readings are fascinating. Human physiology is remarkably resilient. Their immune systems appear designed to handle extreme threats. Kelrin descended from the command tower, needing to see this miracle with his own eyes. By the time he reached Victory Plaza, the human medical teams were already at work. They moved among the sick with quiet efficiency, using handheld devices that scanned each patient in seconds. Behind them, larger machines were being unloaded from the ships, equipment unlike anything in Zorvath medical facilities. Dr. Chen looked up as Kelrin approached. The human's face showed signs of fatigue, but his smile was genuine and warm. Ambassador Kelrin, I wish we could meet under better circumstances. This is Dr. Silara, your chief medical officer, correct? He gestured to a Zorvath female standing nearby, her silver skin marked with the stress patterns of sleepless nights. Yes, Silara said, her voice hoarse. Dr. Chen has been explaining their treatment protocol. It is revolutionary. They use something called nanomachine therapy, combined with genetic reprogramming at the cellular level. We have theoretical research on such techniques, but we never achieved practical application. We had good teachers, Chen said quietly. 50 years ago, Earth faced a similar plague. It killed 2 billion people before we found a cure. We learned hard lessons about biological warfare and natural pandemics. We swore we would never let it happen again, not to us or to anyone else. Kelrin felt his stomach twist. 2 billion dead? But your planet's total population cannot be much larger than that. We had 9 billion then, 7 billion now, after accounting for colony populations on Mars and Europa. Chen's expression darkened with old pain. The Great Plague nearly destroyed us. It taught us humility and forced us to innovate in ways we never imagined. Sometimes survival requires you to break every rule you thought was sacred. A Zorvath child nearby began convulsing. Silara rushed forward, but Chen was faster. He pressed a small device against the child's neck. There was a soft hum, and the convulsions stopped. The child's breathing steadied, and color began returning to her silver skin. The nanomachines will take approximately 6 hours to fully purge the plague from her system. She will need rest and hydration, but she will survive.
They all will, if we move quickly enough. Across the plaza, similar scenes played out. Human medics worked alongside Zordath doctors, teaching as they healed. The language barrier dissolved through translation devices that seemed to understand context and emotion, as well as words. Kelrin watched a young human male with red hair gently comfort an elderly Zorvath patient while administering treatment. The old man had been crying in fear, but the human's soft words and steady hands calmed him. "Your people have remarkable compassion," Kelrin said to Chen. "I confess, we did not expect this. Our records suggested humans were aggressive, warlike, prone to violence." Chen laughed, a sound without bitterness. "We can be all those things, Ambassador. Humans are complicated. Yes, we fight. We have wars and conflicts and moments of terrible cruelty. But we also have this." He gestured to the medical teams working tirelessly around them. "When someone needs help, most humans cannot walk away. It is wired into us somehow. Maybe it is because we remember what it feels like to suffer." A communication chime interrupted them. Commander Mitchell's face appeared on Chen's handheld device. "Ambassador Kelrin, we have a situation developing. May I speak with you privately?" Kelrin followed Chen to a quiet corner of the plaza. Mitchell's expression was serious, but not alarmed. "Ambassador Kelrin, my science teams have been analyzing the plague. We found something disturbing. This organism is not natural. It was engineered." The words hit Kelrin like a physical blow. "Engineered? You mean biological warfare?" "That's precisely. The plague's targeting of Zorvath genetic markers is too specific to be accidental. Someone designed this weapon to kill your people. We found trace elements in the viral structure that match compounds used by the Krell Dominion in their biological research programs." Thesis appeared at Kelrin's side, having overheard the conversation. "The Krell? But we defeated them in the war 20 years ago. Their empire collapsed." "Empires do not always stay collapsed," Mitchell said grimly. "We have been tracking Krell remnant groups for years. They have been hiring themselves out as mercenaries and assassins. It appears someone paid them to develop this plague and release it on your world." "But who would do such a thing?" Kelrin demanded. "The Zorvath have enemies. But genocide? This is beyond normal political conflict." Mitchell's expression turned cold. "Ambassador, are you familiar with the Mercantile Consortium? They control most of the commercial trade routes in this sector." Kelrin nodded, slowly. "We have had disputes with them. They wanted exclusive rights to our quantum computing technology. We refused to share it, believing our knowledge should benefit all species, not just the wealthy. 3 months ago, the consortium approached the Earth Federation with a similar request. They wanted to purchase our faster-than-light drive technology. We also refused." Mitchell paused, letting the implications sink in. "The consortium does not accept rejection well. They have a pattern of eliminating obstacles to their commercial dominance. We believe they hired the Krell to attack your world, planning to claim salvage rights to your technology after your civilization collapsed." Rage flooded through Kelrin, hot and fierce. The Zorvath people were dying not because of natural disaster or random chance, but because they had tried to do the right thing. Because they believed knowledge should be shared, not hoarded. "Do you have proof of this?" he demanded. "We intercepted communications between consortium executives and Krell operatives. Our intelligence division has been investigating them for months. We were preparing to present evidence to the Galactic Confederation when your distress call came through." Mitchell's eyes hardened. "We prioritized saving your people first. Politics can wait. But Ambassador, once your population is stable, we will need your testimony to bring charges against the consortium." "You have it," Kelrin said without hesitation. "If what you say is true, the consortium has committed an act of genocide. They must face justice." Over the next 12 hours, the transformation of Zorvath Prime bordered on miraculous. The human medical teams worked without stopping, treating thousands of patients per hour. Their nanomachine therapy proved devastatingly effective against the plague. Patients who were hours from death recovered within a day. The red dots on Kelrin's planetary map stopped multiplying and began disappearing. Kelrin found himself working alongside Commander Mitchell in a temporary command center established in Victory Plaza. She was reviewing reports from medical teams across the planet, coordinating supply deliveries and managing the massive humanitarian operation with calm efficiency. "How did you develop such advanced technology so quickly?" Kelrin asked, during a brief break. 800 years is nothing in galactic terms. Most species take millennia to progress from primitive spaceflight to what you have achieved. Mitchell leaned back in her chair, considering the question. "Humans have a saying, Ambassador. Necessity is the mother of invention. We have faced extinction multiple times in our short history. Climate disasters, nuclear weapons, artificial intelligence gone wrong, and the Great Plague. Each time we had to innovate or die. Failure was not an option because there was no one else to save us." She pulled up a holographic display showing Earth's history. Images flashed past, showing wars and disasters, but also moments of incredible achievement. Humans landing on their moon, the first fusion reactor, the construction of massive space elevators, the terraforming of Mars. We learned to work together because division meant death. When the Great Plague hit, every nation on Earth contributed to finding the cure. Scientists who had been rivals became partners.